I'm recording? Alright, sup? No.
Same feeling. It's similar when Pete Maravich died. You just don't know where to turn to get answers.
Mourning the loss of a college basketball player.
The growing concern about the dangers of high school football. In the first...
Oh, okay. I don't know why I jumped when, like, Nightmare Files, like, intro came up. I was like, where's the, I don't see nothing. I just hear shit.
Nightmare Files.
Gattor Files. Jesus. Hank. Hey, 3 years before I was born. Okay.
In the 1990 NCAA basketball season, Loyola Marymount was on its way to a possible tournament championship. They were led by their high-flying star.
Question: when did basketball come out? Excuse me. At least, like, in America, when did it first come out? Like, in the 30s? Or before the 1900s?
Hank Gathers, who led the NCAA tournament in scoring that year, and was projected to be a lottery pick in the 1990 NBA draft. On December 9, 1989, Gathers collapsed at the LMU home game against UC Santa Barbara. He was found to have an abnormal heartbeat and was prescribed a beta blocker. However, Gathers felt that the medication negatively affected his play, and his dosage was gradually cut back. Originally prescribed.
I feel like I've seen this before. Either this or something related to, like, sports in, like, the darkest times. Cause I searched this up. I searched the title of this on my YouTube channel, both of them, and nothing came up. So I don't know if, like, the video just got taken down, but I remember reacting to something as far as, like, injuries go, or something related to sports. Because it's like, I don't know. Maybe I didn't see this. I don't know.
Prescribed to 240 milligrams per day. His dosage was cut to 40 milligrams per day for the next 3 months. Gathers returned after sitting out for 3 weeks and missing 2 games, and he averaged 29.3 minutes and 29.15 points a game in his 20 games through the remainder of the season. However, he struggled with his play for weeks after returning. His play recovered in a nationally televised game against LSU on February 3rd, 1990, when he scored 48 points along with 13 rebounds, while being guarded by future NBA first-round draft picks Stanley Roberts and Shaquille O'Neal in a 148 to 141 overtime loss. The Lions won 7 of their next 8 games, and Gathers recorded a career high of 30 rebounds against St. Mary's. On February 26, 1990, as the WCC tournament neared, Gathers' medication was reduced one last time from 80 to 40 milligrams, on a condition that he undergo testing in a couple of days to determine if it was safe and effective at suppressing his dosage. He did not show up for his test that week and avoided calls from the cardiologist's office. On March 2nd, he had a long talk with a cardiologist, who told him to play and come in for the testing after the tournament concluded. It was later suspected that Gathers was not taking any dosage on the game days. The following day in the WCC tournament quarterfinals in Los Angeles, he recorded 28 points and 11 rebounds in a 121 to 84 win over Gonzaga. On Sunday, March 4th, Gathers collapsed again with 13 minutes and 34 seconds left in the first half of the semifinal game against Portland Pilots. He had just scored a dunk from an alley-oop pass from Terrell Lowry, and they went up 25 to 13. 13 seconds later, while positioned around mid-court in the Lions' full-court press, he collapsed a yard or 2 away from the Pilots' point guard, Eric Spoelstra. He attempted to get up, telling the athletic trainers, "I don't want to lay down."
That's gotta be that man. To see that shit in person, he just collapsed.
Later, While positioned around mid-court in the Lions' full-court press, he collapsed a yard or two away from the Pilots' point guard, Eric Spoit.
Oh, oh. Oh my God. You know what that looks like? That looks like, I'm not trying to be like funny, but that looks like, you ever seen like Space Jam? And how when the monsters take out like their, what do they take out, like their energy or like their skills? They're literally taking out their skills and putting it into like the baseball or into like themselves. And when they're taking them out, they kind of like drop. That looks like what that is.
He attempted to get up, telling the athletic trainers, "I don't want to lay down." Shortly after, he stopped breathing. Gathers was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital at 6:55 p.m. He was 23 years old. Minutes after Gathers was taken to the hospital, the WCC commissioner suspended the game indefinitely. ESPN broadcast graphic footage of Gathers' collapse on SportsCenter. The network was at the game recording advanced footage for the championship game and was scheduled to televise the next night. Late that night, the WCC canceled the tournament and awarded LMU the conference automatic bid to the NCAA tournament due to WCC regular season title. Gathers was buried at the Mount Lawn Cemetery in Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. An autopsy found that he suffered from a heart muscle disorder.
Jesus Christ. To see somebody collapse in person is one hell of a sight.
Bison Daly, born Brian Williams, was a former NBA player from 1991 to 1999 who won an NBA championship in 1997 with the Chicago Bulls. But on or around July 7, 2002, he and two other people that he was with vanished.
What?
On July 6, 2002, Bison Daly, also known as Brian Williams, his girlfriend, Serena Carlin, and Bison Daly's brother, along with their skipper, Bertrand Saldo, sailed from Tahiti on Daly's boat. Dale's brother, Miles DeBoer, born Kevin Williams, was the only person involved in the voyage who was seen or heard from after July 8, 2002, when the last of the 3 satellite phone calls from the voyage was made. Daly and Carlin had previously kept regular contact with their banks and family members. On July 20th, Miles bought the boat into Tahiti. He was alone aboard the vessel. On September 5th, 2002, police used a sting operation organized by Daly's family and friends to detain Miles DeBoer in Phoenix, Arizona. Miles had forged Daly's signature in order to buy $150,000 worth of gold under his brother's name, using Daly's passport as identification. Mexican police later found that Miles had been staying at a hotel in Tijuana, Mexico. 2 days before, the Hakuna Matata, which had been registered in Tahiti under another name, was found off the coast of Tahiti, with the nameplate removed and some possible bullet holes patched. About the same time, Miles phoned his mother, Patricia Phillips, telling her that he would never hurt Daly and that he could not survive in prison. The FBI and French authorities became involved in the investigation and concluded that Daly, Carlin, and Saldo were probably murdered and then thrown overboard by Miles. Given that the bodies were likely dumped in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, it would be highly unlikely that the 3 would ever be found. Miles, the only first-person source of information regarding the case, intentionally overdosed on insulin and slipped into a coma. On September 27, 2002, Miles died in a California hospital. In his account of the events, Miles said he and his brother had fought, and that Karen had been accidentally hit and died when her head struck a part of the boat. When Saldo wanted to report her death, a panicked Daly killed her. Miles then shot his brother in self-defense, threw the bodies overboard, and subsequently fled back to the U.S. After Miles' insulin overdose, officials did not expect to find much more regarding the case. A memorial service was then held for Miles and Daly. The brothers were frequently at odds with each other. After Miles' death, his lawyer and lifelong best friend, Paul White, was questioned regarding his client, but gave little information about what happened. Miles had said that he knew for sure that Daly and Carlin were in the French Polynesia, but not much more than that, as he was trying to help Daly.
That's man. What the
On June 17th, Len Bias was selected by the Boston Celtics as the second overall pick in the 1986 NBA Draft, which was held in New York City at Madison Square Garden. Red Auerbach, the Celtics president and general manager, had dealt guard Gerald Henderson and cash to the Supersonics for their pick in 1984. After the draft, Bias and his family returned to their suburban Maryland home. On June 18th, Bias and his father flew to Boston, Massachusetts, from Washington, D.C. for the NBA club draft acceptance and product endorsement signing ceremony with the Celtics coach and management. Bias had discussions with Reebok's sports marketing division regarding a 5-year endorsement package worth $1.6 million. After returning home to Maryland, Bias drove back to the campus of the University of Maryland. He left campus at approximately 2 a.m. on Thursday, June 19th, drove to an off-campus gathering, and returned to the dormitory between 2:30 and 3 a.m. For the next 3 to 4 hours, Bias' longtime friend Brian Tribble and several teammates repeatedly snorted cocaine in the dormitory suite shared by Bias and his teammates. Bias reportedly had a seizure and collapsed while talking with teammate Terry Long. At 6:32 a.m., when Tribble called 911, Bias was unconscious and not breathing. All attempts by the emergency medical team to restart his heart and breathing were unsuccessful. After additional attempts to revive him at Leland Memorial Hospital in Riverdale, Maryland, Bias was pronounced dead at 8:55 a.m. of cardiac arrhythmia related to his usage of cocaine. It was reported that there were no other drugs or alcohol found in his system. 4 days after Bias died, more than 11,000 people attended a June 23rd memorial service at the Cole Field House, the University Recreation and Student Center where Bias played for the Terrapins. Those speaking at the memorial service included Red Auerbach, who said that he had planned for 3 years to draft Bias for the Celtics. On June 30th, 1986, the Celtics honored Bias with their own memorial service, giving his number used, number 30, the Celtic jersey, to his mother, Lanice. On July 25th, 1986, a grand jury returned indictments against Brian Tribble for possession of cocaine and possession of cocaine with the intent to distribute. Bias's Maryland teammates Terry Long and David Gregg were charged with possession of cocaine and obstruction of justice. Long and Gregg were both suspended from the team on July 31st. All 3 defendants entered not guilty plea in August. On October 20th, 1986, prosecutors dropped all charges against Long and Gregg in exchange for their testimony against Tribble. On October 30th, the grand jury added 3 more indictments against Tribble. 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct of justice and 2 counts of obstruction of justice. Also on October 30th, Kenneth Mark Fobbs, Tribble's roommate, was charged with perjury for allegedly lying to the grand jury about the last time he had seen Tribble. The state ultimately dropped the perjury charges against Fobbs on March 24th, 1987, and the jury acquitted Tribble of all charges related to the Bias case on June 3rd, 1987. In 1990, Tribble pleaded guilty to a drug charge following a 2-year undercover sting operation. He cooperated with the government and was sentenced to 10 years and 1 month in prison.
Really? 1 month? You couldn't just say 10 years? Gator Files. It is, when I think about it, it is absolutely crazy how these people, I don't know how to say, like, these, sports people? Athletes. I don't know why I couldn't think of, I don't know why that the word athletes just slipped my mind. These athletes, still to this day, be on some crazy ass shit. And it's like, it makes it kind of even worse for some people when they come across or they have like this bonus or like this contract and they get like millions and millions and millions of dollars. for like 5-10 years. And it's just like, bro, like, why are you doing cocaine? Why are you murdering people? Why are you doing all this bad shit? You literally got your whole life ahead of you, but you want to risk it at 20 years old. You want to risk it at 25 years old. Like, I never understood that. It's like they see that check for, I don't know, $10 million for 10 years. And it's like, as soon as they see that check, something snap. Something just like it's like something switches. It's like a light switch. It's like something flicks in their head. And it's like they just turn into a whole different person. Like, cocaine? Y'all want to do all the drugs in the world. When y'all get like solidified and when y'all get like at a certain status, and not even that, some of y'all be doing stuff before y'all enter like the major leagues or the professional levels of these athletes, and then it be catching up to y'all. Like, some of y'all be doing some crazy ass shit, and then y'all be in like the NFL or in basketball or baseball, and like y'all with the professionals now, and y'all like you 5 years in, and then something comes up in your background, and now you doing 25 years. Like, what the fuck? What the hell? The only difference between somebody doing something clucked up before, like, that's not, like, you're not in that, like, I don't know how to say, like, the only difference between a regular person that's not an athlete doing something crazy and somebody that's an athlete that did something crazy but is now with the professionals, and they getting caught. Y'all both got caught doing the same thing, but the only difference is you got millions of dollars in your bank account. But y'all still like, but it's just crazy how these athletes get, it's like something switches in their head. And it's like they turn into a whole different person. Which I don't get. I do not get whatsoever. But keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you, stay happy, my family.